He arrives every Saturday morning with nothing more than a folding chair, a set of clippers, and a gentle smile. People walk past him at first, their eyes darting away quickly, as if avoiding the weight of those gathered near his chair. But slowly, the curious turn back, noticing the quiet ritual unfolding on the corner of the city street. A homeless man, weary from nights on the pavement, sits down hesitantly. The barber drapes a cape around his shoulders, and the steady hum of clippers begins to fill the air. This man once owned a small barber shop. Years ago, he had regulars who would come in every week, chatting about sports, family, or their day at work. Back then, the shop felt alive, full of laughter and stories. But when hard times came, financial struggles, rising rent, and his own mistakes, he lost that world. What remained with him, however, was the skill of his hands and the deep belief that a haircut is more than just grooming. It is dignity. As he works, passers-by glance at the scene. Some offer small smiles, while others shake their heads, dismissing his effort as pointless. But he doesn't flinch. He focuses on the man in his chair, carefully shaping the hair, trimming the beard, and restoring not just appearance but a sense of self. When the mirror is held up at the end, the transformation is almost startling. The man who once avoided eye contact now stares at his reflection with quiet astonishment. His shoulders lift, his back straightens, and for a brief moment, he feels seen. For the barber, this is the real work. Not money, not recognitions, these moments where someone rediscovers their worth. He knows that hunger and cold are heavy burdens, but he also understands that invisibility is perhaps the greatest pain of all. His clippers are a tool against that invisibility. One small way to tell someone, you matter, you still belong. He packs no banners, no speeches, no announcements, only scissors and compassion. Yet, in the quiet exchange between his hands and the hair he shapes, there is an unspoken truth. Kindness does not need applause to be real, it simply needs to be given. And with each haircut on the corner, he gives away a piece of himself, hoping to stitch dignity back into the lives of those who have been stripped of it. When the day winds down and the clippers grow quiet, the barber often sits in silence, staring at his own hands. They are hands that once held ambition, once counted bills from a full day at the shop. He remembers the years when success blinded him, when every haircut was measured not by the smile it brought, but by the money it added to his till. Back then, he hardly noticed the men outside his shop window, unshaven and cold, watching life pass them by. The collapse of his shop was painful, but in truth, it was also a reckoning. Losing everything stripped away his illusions. What remained was a hollow ache and the memory of his father. His father had been a simple man, not wealthy, but full of wisdom spoken in quiet words. He used to tell him that a person's worth is not measured by what they own, but by what they give to others. Those words had once felt like a soft breeze, pleasant but forgettable. Now, in the silence of loss, they returned like an echo that refused to fade. Every time he sets up his chair on the street, he feels his father's presence, as if those words are guiding his clippers, reminding him of why he continues. There are moments when he falters, when doubt creeps in. People mock him, asking why he wastes his time on those who have nothing. Even friends suggest he should focus on rebuilding his own life, instead of cutting hair for free. These words sting because they strike at his hidden fear that maybe they are right, that maybe he is giving away what little strength he has left. But then he remembers the eyes of the men and women in his chair, eyes that light up at their reflection, eyes that sometimes fill with tears as if a simple haircut has pulled them back from the edge of forgetting themselves. And in those eyes, he hears his father again. To restore dignity is to restore life. Still, the burden of memory is heavy. He cannot erase the years when he lived for himself, nor the opportunities he wasted, when he had the chance to do good earlier. He carries that guilt quietly, almost like an invisible companion walking beside him. Yet, in some way, it is that very guilt that fuels him now. Each haircut is a small act of redemption, a way to balance the scales, to honor his father's voice, and to make peace with the man he once was. One winter afternoon, the barber kneels beside a man whose face is hidden beneath a tangled beard and layers of worn clothing. The cold bites at their skin, the kind of cold that makes people hurry by with their collars pulled high, pretending not to see. But the barber sees. He opens his kit, unfolds the chair, and gently invites the man to sit. The man hesitates, then lowers himself slowly. almost as if he fears that even this small act of kindness might vanish if he trusts it too much. The clippers buzz to life, and with each stroke, the layers fall away. A jawline appears, a mouth that had been buried emerges, and suddenly, the man before him looks years younger. The transformation is not only on the outside. The barber notices the man's posture shift, his eyes softening, a faint spark returning. When the haircut is finished, the barber holds up the mirror. For a moment, silence hangs heavy. Then the man exhales, whispering words that sound almost like disbelief. "I feel like myself again." Moments like this are why the barber continues, despite the cold, despite the doubt, despite his own financial strain. He may not have much left, but what he has, the skill of his hands, he gives freely. And in giving, he discovers something unexpected. The very dignity he restores in others begins to heal the broken pieces inside himself. Each haircut stitches back a fragment of his own worth, teaching him that compassion is not a one-way gift. It circles back, mending both the giver and the receiver. He has no illusions that a haircut will solve homelessness or erase hardship, but he knows that in those fleeting moments of transformation, something greater happens. A man who felt invisible now sees himself reflected with dignity. A woman who had lost her sense of belonging now smiles at her own reflection. These are not small things. They are seeds of hope planted quietly in the hearts of those who had nearly forgotten they still mattered. As the barber packs up his tools, he feels the familiar ache in his back and the chill in his bones. But there is also a warmth that no winter wind can touch. He looks around at the faces he has served and realizes something profound. By lifting others, he has lifted himself. His story is not about scissors or clippers, it is about the simple truth that kindness, no matter how small, can carry the weight of a soul. And so, he returns each week, not because he seeks thanks, but because he has found his purpose. Through the hum of his clippers and the quiet grace of his hands, he reminds the world that dignity is a gift everyone deserves. There are stories that remind us how fragile dignity can be, and how easily it can be restored with compassion. The man who gives free haircuts to the homeless shows us that sometimes healing doesn't come in grand gestures but in quiet, steady acts of kindness. His story asks us a simple question: what small gift of ourselves can we offer to lift another? If this touched you, share it so others may feel the same warmth. Leave your reflections below and subscribe for more stories that remind us of the beauty of humanity.